So in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to set up surveys inside of your funnel that help you recruit at a higher level and have guys selling themselves on joining your opportunity in the recruiting call instead of you trying to constantly convince people to be a part of your program or opportunity. And what that looks like. So if we go inside the brand operator CRM on this left sidebar, I go to sites, and then I move over on the top widgets to surveys. Go to the builder and then click on a survey. There's a setting inside of the survey builder. If you go over to options and you go to survey settings, you want to make sure that sticky contact is turned on, auto navigation is turned on, and enable time zone is turned on. The next setting is create contact on partial submission. Very, very important, because if somebody doesn't fill out the entire survey, but they look like they were super qualified, who knows the reason that they fell off of that survey? It could be for multiple different things. We still want to have their information, especially for targeted ads. But now we get into the survey. The next thing that you want to keep in mind is when you are creating survey questions, if your survey questions do not directly assist the recruiter or manager that is on the call with the prospect, then it doesn't need to be on your survey. We put the disqualifying questions typically right at the top, or at least the most crucial disqualifying questions. For the insurance space, you have to be a US resident. So we put that as number one. That's a big disqualifying question. Then the age demographic. Certain clients want certain age ranges. They don't want like super young guys. Kind of just depends on who you recruit, who you've had the best success with. We found that pretty much anyone over 18 has a decent opportunity. The older they go, typically more mature, better lead quality. And we just want to track the age ranges in our data. So that's a big reason that we have this question on there, is so that on our dashboards, we can track the age ranges of the people that are coming from these ads and see, are these ads targeting younger demographic? Are they targeting the wrong people, or is our organic content targeting the wrong people? That's why we put this on here. And it's a disqualifying question at the same time. The next one is, did you watch the video explaining the job? For this use case, it is really important that they do watch the video about the job opportunity before they hop on, so that we can fill any of the gaps in their knowledge about the opportunity as quickly and as efficiently as possible. We don't want somebody showing up to a recruiting call and they have no idea what the opportunity is because they literally just applied off of a quick ad or a quick organic video on social media. There was no nurturing process to build their knowledge base on what the opportunity actually is. So I like to put this on here just because if they didn't watch the video, then it can notify the manager, and the manager can reach out and make sure that they watch that video before they get onto their recruiting call. So the next question is talking about if they've heard about the opportunity before, and understanding the awareness of the lead on the opportunity is super important, not only for the manager, but it's also, again, important for us to be tracking so that we can see, do the people that come from our ads already know a lot about this opportunity? Are they in the opportunity? And then we can tag them properly. So for example, if they said, I currently do life insurance sales, they would automatically get a tag that they are a current sales manager or salesperson, current agent inside of the industry that we're recruiting for already. That means our ads are targeting people that we definitely want to be getting on calls. So this is very important for our tracking. It's also important for the person that's going to be taking the call with the prospect. The next one, do you understand that this application is for a full-time position and we do not hire part-time? Big disqualifying question. If they put no on here, we're not going to be taking them. So the next one, do you have a degree? So with doing questions like this, once we have a lot of these data points from pulling a ton of people in through your funnel, collecting a lot of this data is actually really important. And a lot of people don't see the value in collecting this type of data, but some of these KPIs could actually show that they aren't really KPIs at all and they're insignificant data points. We can take those out. But there is also something to say about if the sales manager that is taking on the prospect and doing the recruiting call has a really good connection with people that are in school, or it's just a really good conversation starter, that can still be used in here, even if it's not like a super important key performance indicator on if they're going to show up to the call or convert into a salesman. It's more just a conversation starter that still helps our recruiting process, so you can keep it in there. Hopefully that makes sense. So on this one, this is just more qualifying questions for college applicants. With guys that are in college, this is something that we just have to collect a lot of data on to really identify like if college leads are better leads or worse leads. For some people, it seems like they're way better. And for some people, it actually seems like they fall off at a higher rate. It could be because of the locations and a lot of different things. But we put this on here because just a really good conversation starter in the recruiting process. And it's also a good data point to track for potential KPIs that could matter if we can collect enough data on them. So where they are in college and if they're doing college is actually something that we have found to be pretty important. Now, the next one is what types of roles are you currently considering? Corporate job, entrepreneurship, freelancing, and unsure. So this is a really good one for the sales manager due to the fact that it gives them the opportunity to ask the potential prospect, what other opportunities are you entertaining? Are you looking into anything else? Is this like your main focus right now is getting into something like this? It really does give the person taking the recruiting call a lot of ammunition on what they're working against and the likelihood of this person even really wanting to do this, or if you're fighting against a lot of other options. Now, the next one, what is your current job if employed? That's pretty straightforward. We want to figure out if these people are working and what they're doing currently so that we can have ammunition on why they should stop doing that and come into our sales program. Now, we don't have to sell them on that. Obviously, we do a lot of pullback, but this will give you a really good understanding of where the current lead is at the moment. The next one, do you believe that having a sales background can be advantageous for somebody in your shoes? You know, you put strongly agree or neutral. If they put disagree or strongly disagree, there's really no point in that lead being on the call. But if it's one of the top three, it gives the sales manager an opportunity to be like, okay, I know that you said you agree that having a sales background would be advantageous for somebody in your shoes, but like, why do you actually think that a sales background is what you need right now? And they start selling you on why they need it, or they start opening up about how they're not really certain if they need it or not. And that gives you, again, a lot of ammunition and opportunity to fill gaps in the knowledge base or create a vision for that potential prospect, or just justify the vision that they already have and the understanding that they really do want a sales opportunity. It's good for just seeing the level of intent that they have to become a part of this and to get into sales. Now, these open-ended questions are actually pretty important. People that don't fill out open-ended questions are not going to be worth your time. So questions like this, and I mean, it's the whole mind frame of why we run the surveys and the recruiting process like we do, but put yourself into the prospect's shoes. If a sales manager, the person that's holding the keys to the opportunity that I potentially want to be a part of, is asking me, why did you put this answer for the reason you thought you'd be good at sales or not good at sales? I am going to start selling that person on why I would be good at sales. I'm going to start listing off the reasons and subconsciously building my belief in why I should be a part of this opportunity. Instead of somebody trying to sell me on joining their awesome infinite earning potential opportunity, I'm selling myself and trying to sell the recruiter on why I would be a good fit for the position. It just sets this frame inside of their minds that they want to be a part of this and they're going to take this seriously because they sold themselves on why sales is for them, why this opportunity is for them, instead of being sold on it. And when people make decisions, what they don't like to be is wrong. And if their parents or somebody tells them, hey, you know, this is a bad opportunity, you shouldn't do this, this is an MLM, this is a scam, whatever, it's like they've already sold themselves on why they need this opportunity because of how we structure these questions and how we do our recruiting calls. So now think about how much more they're going to fight back on those outside opinions when they've already really, stuck their foot in the ground on their decision on needing this opportunity because we set it up that way. That's really the psychology behind these open-ended questions and a lot of the questions that are on here and the way that we run our recruiting process. And asking someone why they think they would be good or not good at sales, like that is a super, super straightforward question to ask. And it really does get them talking and unpacking the reasons why they would be good at sales. And it also gives them the opportunity to subconsciously justify their decision in getting on that recruiting call in the first place. So the next question is, do you have a criminal history? That's pretty straightforward. We want to look out for the guys that have criminal histories. Now, these next ones are actually my favorite. And it's because it really shows you what their expectation is of making money currently. And it'll give you a really good gauge on how to go over the next call after you've gone over the survey, which is a call over pay, because you know how much they've made already. So you know what their expectations are in a sense. So we asked them how much they've made an hour so that you can really get a good gauge and understanding of like what their perception of good money is or what they've earned in the past, so that you don't have to like show them this astronomical amount of money that they can make and actually end up turning them off. If a guy's only made $20 an hour, I don't want to show him how he's going to make $2,000 an hour. He's just not going to believe that. But if I showed him how he was going to make like $100 an hour, that is something that would be more reasonable for a guy coming through, to where that's a little bit more believable instead of just something that's unattainable. So understanding their perception of money just from what they've made so far will help your sales managers and you as a recruiter as well on not overselling or setting expectations that are beyond what they think is even possible or anywhere close to what they've reached before. Even if your opportunity in sales, which obviously if they do good, they can make so much money. But sometimes if you don't understand how much they've made in the past, and then you give them some number that's way beyond what they even believe that they could do, it'll turn them off, even if it is true that they could make that amount of money. So the next one is, what's your goal in earnings in the next year? I like to see how ambitious these guys are. Some of these dudes will throw on huge numbers, and that really shows that they have high level of belief in themselves. And it also gives you the exact number that you need to show them on the call over pay, or when you're breaking down how pay works and the actual ins and outs of the comp structures that you guys have. That is really, really going to get them amped up as well to create vision for them. So this is actually a question that not only helps you see, how ambitious they are and how much money they think that they could actually make, what their goals are, but it also gives you an opportunity for the following call going over the comp structure and pay on how they could reach that goal, and it creates that vision for them. So super, super important question to have in there. Now, why do you think that we should choose you for a sales position? Again, it goes back to that framework of them selling themselves on why they should be a part of this. It's no longer us being the people that are trying to sell them on joining the opportunity, because if you framed your marketing correctly, we don't need anybody. We're not taking anybody with the pulse. This is something that you really do have to be at a higher level or have high intent and work for to be a part of. You're going to get way more qualified guys like this, and they're going to be way more bought in because they sold themselves through this recruiting process instead of a sales manager or sales recruiter selling them. The final one is just attaching the resume. We want them to attach the resume onto here. Pretty straightforward and simple. When they add in their resume, guys who typically add in their resume are way, way, way more qualified. Still had a lot of people that didn't put the resume in that ended up being super great salesmen in our recruiting system using these same or similar questions. But the resume is a super, super good indicator of how serious these guys are. Pretty much every single person that adds their resume into the funnel will show up to their initial interview, and they will take it seriously. Always put in the resume question in here. You just do a file upload. Super easy to set up. So that's how we set up the surveys. Anyways, this is Bryson Bowman. Till the next one.